Okay, my name is Bing Akinyemi. I am doing this presentation as a feedback on my project, on the project I carry on for my clients, Signalcom, Nigeria Limited. I did this project about the intervention of social media in sales management. That is how social media can improve upon sales performance. The model is about the solution proposal that I've adopted for the client. I earlier before this period, I have conducted current situation analysis, which has assisted in figuring out this problem area, the pain area of the client, and the possible solution. Then I conducted research. I visited a library. I consulted resources, and I found out that marketing intervention could go a long way in assisting the company better. So I consider social media. I consider social media. Then I adopted social media as a panacea for the company. The justification for I actually had a lot of options, a lot of solution options going on my mind, but I I did several studies here and there. Then I now concluded on pruning down my option to adopting social media. So I I have planned for research. I have planned for testing the research model. You know, if you have a model, you must the beauty of it is that you should be able to test it. You should be able to measure the efficacy of it. You should be able to evaluate it. If you have proposed a solution as a consultant, you should be able to find a way of, oh, how are you going to test your model? So this takes me to formulating research objective along the line of the problem, research hypothesis. So the overall objective is to test the impact the social media has on the customer base, on the company's customer base. If social media intervention is going to be statistically significant if regress against process of performance. So what are the process of performance that I am going to adopt for this study? I adopted sales or propensity to purchase. That's intention to purchase. Then I formulated a research design, whereby I have the independent variables and the dependent variable. The dependent variable, like I mentioned earlier, is sales performance. So sales performance is proceed by sales by intention to purchase. If the clients are so willing, the customer, if the customer are so much ready to purchase or to patronize from the company. So that is the sales, that is the performance process used in this study. Then on the left side, you have the independent variables. I have Facebook, I have Instagram, I have TikTok. So this is going to be regress against the dependent variable. At first, I intended to focus on social media focus on social media alone. But as time goes on, I now kind of make it more specific, to make it clear, to make it clearer, to make it clearer, to formulate individual um, individual individual variable per each platform. For example, before I was trying to compound or to aggregate social media, putting Facebook effects together with effects of Instagram, effect of TikTok, you know. So by so doing, you won't be able to figure out which platform actually has more beneficial impact on sales performance. So I now later redesign it as time goes on. I now reformulated the solution model to make it more specific by taking the variable by taking the variable on each platform individually, specifically. Like on Facebook, I have effectiveness of marketing communication and brand perception. How does effectiveness of marketing communication in signal strength and brand perception in signal strength, how do this variable affect sales or propensity to purchase in signal strength? I did this. I did this for Facebook, for TikTok, and for Instagram. So what are the strategy for data collection? I collected data using the method I use in collecting in data collection or sampling is refers to as partial sensors. I intended to go to capture the whole number of both existing customer and potential customers of the company, but this is looking impossible. So I now took as many as I can take from the block of both existing customer and potential customer for the company. So once you do a thing like that, you have performed what is technically known as partial sensors. So I collected data using Qualtrics. Then I formulated the hypothesis. The hypotheses were formulated in null form. The hypotheses were immediately stated in the line as Facebook communication effectiveness does not have statistical significance. It is not statistically significant. It's not related to sales performance. And for example, I did that. Then I have decided that I am going to use a test of hypothesis. I'm going to use alpha 0.01 and alpha 0.05 p-value. I will now compare the p-value of the analysis with this alpha. So if the p-value is less than the alpha, then I will get the null hypothesis. I will accept the alternative hypothesis. That means, in that case, that means there is the statistical significance. Now, this is the data summary. I have this data. I have the summary here. Then the group. Then the group of people that patronizes signal strength more, signal com more, is group of age group 18 to 24. As reviewed by the data. So through the visualization, I was able to figure out that. Then I did correlation. For aggregate, I have two strategies of data analysis. I have the strategy of aggregating the social media put together, aggregating the effect of it. Then I have the strategy of looking at the social media platform of interest specifically, individually, one after the other. So at the aggregate one, I have I did correlation. Then we did pre-estimation tests to check the normality of the data to be sure that it's not going to violate the vital assumption for regression. So when I did this, I realized that it was lacking. It was not fitting very well on the normality side. So what I did was that I transformed the data further. I did some transformation to the DV, that is performance, to make it more fitting for the analysis. Then I now adopted a kind of special um, regression or data analysis that is less sensitive to to impact of abnormality in data. So I use WLS, that is weighted least square regression analysis. And at the end of the day, both effectiveness of communication and brand perception were statistically significant. So these are the tables showing the statistically significant, the coefficients. So now, when we now go ahead to do social media by social media analysis, we realize that all are also significant, all are also very important, all are very vital in explaining sales, in determining, explaining how sales do come to the firm, but at varying degree, at different level. So some show promises of strength in one area, different from the other. For example, Facebook is taking the lead in effectiveness of communication. Effectiveness coefficient, for example, of Facebook is 0.9. Then a TikTok is for brand perception. TikTok is taking the lead. The coefficient is 1.3. So it is very high. So all the platforms are very good, but they have their area of strength. So the company can target, differently, So summarizing the whole exercise, which is very interesting to me, it has been a very good exercise. I so much learned from it. We collected data, we formulated, we identified the problem. Then from the problem, research objectives were formulated for the project. Formulating this research objective, we develop questions, that we use in survey questionnaires. We develop questions, we adopted questions that have been existent. We fine-tuned those questions and sent them out in Qualtrics to get responses. We obtain data, then we subjected the data to analysis. So this is a flow chart of it. Defining the variable, defining the objective. Then from objective we got variables that we use, two major independent variables and one dependent variable. Then we collected data. We did survey question. We use different techniques of analysis. When I was dealing with social media aggregates, I used WLS, that is weighted least scale regression analysis. Then when we are now dealing with individuals of social media platform, because the data were categorical, data were in like a scale form, like where five is the strongest point. Then in that case, it is a categorical variable. So we use ordinal logistic regression to analyze that data, because the social media, the aggregate social media one has been transformed to interval or ratio, because it's an aggregate. It's an average of data collected from Facebook, data collected for Facebook, collected for Instagram, collected for TikTok. So we aggregate this data. So it has been naturally transformed to interval. So we could use any method of analysis that is interval data compliance to analyze. So, but whereas when dealing with them individually, they were in their raw form of categorical form. So we had to use analysis that could sufficiently take care of That's nature. We recommend that the company Signalcom should focus on advertisements. It is going to benefit so much from advertisements. The company is going to benefit so much from advertisements or using social media. But it should leverage its strengths in certain areas. For example, when the company is communicating, maybe communicating or sales promo or sales event, it can use Facebook. But when it has to do when we want to market brand, it should use TikTok. So I have a reflection. My reflection, I have a flow chart that I used to capture it without wasting time. I encountered missing value. Missing value was like a kind of novel problem to me. Like when you have data, when you set your data questions or questionnaire questions, and you expect that respondent will respond to your questions, but they intentionally left those questions blank. But if you and I felt that since they left it blank, then I should just take them off. So when I realized that when taking them, I had like maybe once 43 rows. When I was trying to take every blank off, I realized that it is shrinking my data to like maybe less than very, very much less than 100. So, and this is going to tell on the quality or integrity of my data. So I had to think again. So I felt frustrated initially as per the feelings. I felt frustrated. Then I now evaluated the scenario. What can I gain from this? So I realized that if I take off those blanks completely, it's going to jeopardize the quality of the data. And the strength of the consultancy project depends so much on the data, because the data is what I will use in in figuring out the problem, in formulating solution, and in providing recommendation for the client. So the data has to be almost perfect. So I had to go back and research on how to handle such scenario. So this led me to learning new things. And I realized that in categorical data, the blank will means something. So you don't take off the blanks. If you take off the blank, you are going to rob the data of essential essential quality. So I refrain from doing that. I learned the importance of non non non-available. So it is non-available. Non-available. I use the initial of NA. Then this also helped me to learn more about how to handle my facial data. So the design, the description of the problem, like I've explained, the feeling I felt so much, I felt bad at first, I felt frustrated, then I evaluated the situation, I analyzed the pros and cons, the advantage of taking it off, and the disadvantage of leaving it. Then I concluded that the whole situation assisted me in knowing the importance of of dealing with NA in data analysis. NA are also very, very much vital, as you have data that the respondents gave out. Data data given out by the respondent are also equal as important as areas whereby the respondents also decline to give out information. If you are taking off those areas whereby they decline to give out information, that means you have introduced bias into the data. So this is a huge lesson that I learned in the process in analysis. Thank you so much.